Welcome to the Thoughtonomy Podcast, where we like you to think for yourself in a world that wants to do it for you. So we're going to do something different today. We're going to start a little series on different chapters of the book. And one of the reasons that I wanted to do that is so many people say to me, oh, but what's the book about? And a lot of people say, is it a business book? And my answer is always, no, it's not a business book. This book is so much bigger than just business. In fact, it's probably more personal and personal growth than business. But within the book, there's examples of business. And what I try and do is I try and break down my thinking of how I came up with this concept called Thoughtonomy. So very quickly from the outset, the word Thoughtonomy, most people assume it's a combination of the word thoughts and economy, which is not correct. Thoughtonomy comes from two words, thoughts and autonomy. And if you know the definition of a thought, I don't need to go into thoughts, right? But the definition of the word autonomy is independence and being able to act with independence and being able to follow a course of action that you decide upon. And if you consider countries that become autonomous, they generally break away. They gain their independence from another ruler or another governing country. So there is also such a thing as personal autonomy. And I guess when you combine the two words together, Thoughtonomy, what it meant to me was, well, I have the right to think independently. I have the right to govern the direction that my life should take without undue influence from anybody else. Now, it's a little vague, but it's also kind of leaning you in the direction of where the book goes. So what we first have to understand on the concept of Thoughtonomy is how on an unconscious level, we are governed so much by the thoughts and the beliefs of other people. A lot of people will be stuck in situations in life where they're feeling frustrated. It might even be you. Have you ever felt that feeling where you know you've got the potential to do so much more? Whether it's in a relationship, in a business, in a job, you have this kind of indomitable spirit that exists within you that goes, like, I can do anything. Yes, I'll set that goal and I know I can achieve that. I've got it within me. But the minute you start taking action, you feel this resistance and this pullback. And it's kind of like governed a little bit by fear, but there's also this comfort zone that kind of keeps us grounded. And I see it a lot in my business where I will give agents in my business, I have a real estate business, and their job is to go out and get stock and to find stock and to promote themselves and market themselves. So I was finding that I was sitting in front of a lot of talented people who could do everything that I put down on my blueprint. So I'd say to them, right, do you want to earn X number of millions this year? Here's the blueprint. Here's the activities that you want to do. Talented people who should be able to do it. And we'd have a coaching session and they'd agree with me. They'd go logically, they'd go, yes, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And they'd come back in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, and I'd say, right, so how did you go with the activities? And they'd go, well, I couldn't do it. I said, what do you mean what do you mean you couldn't do it? Now, I know I've got to make these calls, but I just couldn't pick up the phone. There was something blocking me. So I kind of started developing my whole coaching style towards why do people do what they do when they know what they know? In other words, if they know that that's the blueprint for success. Now, put it into your own context here while I'm saying this. Think of going on a diet. Think of starting a gym program. Think of training for the comrades, whatever it may be. Think of your business, sitting with a coach. If a coach, a dietitian, or a personal trainer said to you, right, if this is your goal, if this is what you want to achieve in your life, which your brain's already going, yes, I want that. If this is the blueprint and I just got you to follow it, and you did this for 6 to 8 weeks, you might not see results in the beginning, but if you just follow the step-by-step activities, I almost guarantee you'll get results. If you know that, if you know what you know, why would you do anything different? And the reason why you do what you do when you know what you know is because most of what you do is unconscious. So as human beings, most of our behavior comes from our unconscious mind, which means for most of the time, you don't know why you do what you do because it's unconscious. So we have 2 parts to our brain, and chapter 1 goes into this, is explaining this concept because it's quite fundamental to the concept of Thoughtonomy. Is we have 2 brains. We have a conscious brain and an unconscious brain. right? Your conscious mind is your goal setter. So if I'm standing in front of an audience and say, right, who wants to earn 5 million Rand this year? Everyone's hand should go up, right? Unless you're earning more than that already. But everyone's hand goes up. Why? Because logically, rationally, your conscious brain is your goal setter. It logically, who doesn't want to earn that, right? So logically, it makes sense. Yes, I want to earn 5 million Rand. But then when I show you the list of activities that you have to do in order to earn 5 million Rand, or I give you the diet or the gym program, and I show you that there's no cheat days and you got to eat broccoli and you got to eat rolled oats, you might not want to do it, and there might be sacrifices that you have to make in order to achieve your goal. This is where the unconscious mind steps in, because the unconscious mind is the goal getter. Okay, your unconscious mind is the domain of all your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions, your values, your morals, your principles. And a lot of it, because it's unconscious, it's things that have been built up over your entire life. First 7 years of our lives as human beings is where we're little sponges and we are just absorbing what we see. And we're downloading all our values, our morals, our principles, our beliefs. And a lot of it comes from the people who are around us when we're raised at the time. And it's lodged in our unconscious mind early on in life. And over the lifetime of your existence, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger because you repeat those thoughts and beliefs as you get older. So we get to the age of 30, 40, and we're really imprinted in these beliefs. But what I'm trying to put forward in the book is that, are these thoughts and beliefs your own, firstly? Is it what you really believe, or is it what your parents told you and you've just believed it ever since? And you've repeated it so many times in your mind that you now believe those thoughts and beliefs to be your own. So the question I have to ask everybody is, are your thoughts and your beliefs serving you well? So back to the beginning of this conversation. If you're feeling frustrated, if you feel that there's way more potential that you've got to give, if you're stuck in a rut, if you're sitting in a place in your life where you are not happy, the first question we have to ask is, are your thoughts and your beliefs serving you well? If they are, high five, carry on with life. If they're not, we've got to sit back and go, right, what is governing my behavior? What is it behind my unconscious behavior? What is it that is impacting the things that I do that I'm not even aware that I'm doing? And this is chapter 1 in the book. I don't want to give too much away, but let me just say this. Your behavior does not define you. Rather, your behavior is defined by your past conditioning and your emotions. And your past conditioning and your emotions are impacting the things you do, your behavior, and you may not even be aware that it's happening. And that's how I start the book off in chapter 1. In fact, the title is called Perceiving is Believing, because so many of us, we're walking around, we're living life with our eyes open, but are we seeing reality? Are we seeing everything for as it is, or are we seeing things based on what we've experienced in the past? And that's the opener to the book, is understanding that concept of the unconscious mind and the reasoning behind why, as human beings, we do what we do, even though we may know there's a better way of doing it. So what is that resistance and where does it come from? So that's the start of the book. That's chapter 1. Look out for the next episode. I'll give you a little snapshot of chapter 2. If you're interested in the book, Thoughtonomy, please go to the website, thoughtonomybook.co.za. I will catch you next time.